that's known as the curse of dimensionality. So we haven't actually seen the curse part of it. It's just showing that many data sets seem to be very high dimensional, and we model them as being very high dimensional when in fact they could be lower dimensional. So what's the problem with having a high dimensional space? And the problem is that most of the methods that we talk about in this course that are statistical in one way or another. So what we do is we take our space and we cut it up in some way and we count how many positives and negative examples we had in different parts of the space. So decision trees, for example, you take your space, you take a subspace where it was raining, and then you cut it up into it was raining and the wind was strong and the temperature was about 28 degrees, and then in that part of space, how many times the trains were running on time and how many times the trains were late. So that's what a decision tree does at some level. It cuts the space and then counts. Same thing happens in naive Bayes, right, or in Bayesian algorithms for text. We're counting how many times we saw different words. And what's happening is, as your dimensionality gets larger and larger, the size of your training data remains the same, right? So if you had 1 million training examples in 5D, you're still going to have 1 million training examples in a 100-dimensional space. And what that means is you're going to have fewer and fewer examples per region of the space. So here's an example. I have a data set, 10 items, 3 different classes with 1 attribute. Right? So, and this attribute is quantized into 3 possible values, right? Left, middle, and right. So if I do that, I have some reasonable counts. So I know that for the value left, I have 3 observations of red and 1 observation of green and no observations of blue. So I can maybe make some inferences based on those counts. If I take the same exact data set and represent it in 2 dimensions, I'm going to have a second attribute, and that's going to spread the points around. So now instead of having 3 regions, I'm going to have 9 regions, but I still have the same 10 data points covering 9 regions. So now my counts are going to be a lot sparser, and I'm going to have some cells where I have no observations at all. And if I take it to 3D, I still have the same 10 points covering 27 regions in space. So most of the observations are going to be zeros everywhere. So that's the problem. That's why dimensionality hurts. It's because you get lots and lots of regions in space where you cannot make any inference at all.